How's everybody doing? I hope you guys have had a great week so far. Today's going to be day 3 of daily uploads. Thursday and Friday left. So I hope you guys, can capitalize on the rest of the videos. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the ones so far. Today, I wanted to get into a live/raw executions compilation / overview. I wanted to do this because I personally learned a lot from reverse engineering trades, seeing when, why, and where somebody was taking a trade, their logic behind the trade, and if they followed a sequence. For our trades, in my trades, I follow the turtle soup logic and the sequence, the where, when, why narrative, and all it boils down to is the psychology of being able to hold the trade until you're drawing liquidity. I want you to keep these 3 key points into the video while you're sitting through. I'm not going to be talking the whole time. Most of it will be ICT lectures or ICT psychology over in the background. Almost like a Zusi video, if you've ever seen those before. But I hope you guys can enjoy this. I know a lot of people will be able to use it, and some won't. I know I personally would, so that's the type of content I want to put out. So I really hope you guys can enjoy it. As always, please like and subscribe, and also leave a comment on what you would really like to see next, what would help you improve as a trader, and what would maybe help somebody else that you've thought about and haven't seen me post. You guys have a great one.
You have to learn from that pain and then, okay, disconnect it. But because you're not experienced, you're neophyte, and you've now created toxic thinking because of rushing into a market move or day, like FOMC or non-farm payroll, you have poisoned your perception of how price is going to deliver. And I know some of you are thinking, damn, this guy nailed me, man. That's exactly what the fuck happened to me. And I never really understood it until now. Yes, I've done this to myself before. And it takes a lot of undoing to correct it. That means time. That's why I tell you these things. That's why I make the videos the way I do. That's why I talk to you the way I talk to you. Because I have lived this shit, folks. I've lived it. I know how hard it is to fix the problems. But some of you just simply want to do the shit and like, hey, I don't want you to have the same kind of shit that I went through. Why would you want to do that? Don't you want to be the person that say, you know what? I listened to everything he said, avoided the shit he said to avoid, and I'm doing it better, and I don't have any issues. Man, that's what I want to hear. That's why I'm mentoring. I'm mentoring like that because I want to hear a student say that. I've not had one student do that yet. Hundreds of thousands of students, not one of them has come forward and said, you know what? I listened to all your shit, and I don't want to go through that. I'm going to listen to the lessons that are going to be the most uncomfortable ones to listen to, because guess what? That's the stuff that's going to break me. You're that person, okay? It's not the market maker that's getting you. It's the person in the mirror. You've done your own ass. You did that. You're all doing something, all of you are doing something individually that's holding you back. I don't give a shit how well you're doing right now. You all are doing something that's having a negative impact on your growth. And that's why it's important that you journal. And you don't realize what those things are until you go back and look at what it is you're doing. You keep doing things over and over again, and they're having a negative response. The results are showing less than optimal. Mind that. Figure out what it is you're doing. Something doesn't feel right, and you're just bothered by it. That kind of stuff can materialize and manifest itself in your decision making in the marketplace, because you'll come to these marketplaces like a way of escaping, living a different life. And sometimes you can talk yourself into thinking you're James Bond, walk out here and find out no. No, you're nothing like that, and you need a stretcher. So when you have these poor decisions to come in here and try to find a way of fixing yourself and feeling good, the worst thing you can do is try to do that on a day like today, because you're not going to fix yourself. Okay, you're not going to fix yourself on a day like this. It's going to do a lot of harm. more harm than you realize. And it's not going to be noticeable to you until you trade after this day. Like, you're not, even if you made money, the toxic aspects of this type of day, when you don't have proper experience doing all what is I'm teaching you, these ideas will again manifest themselves in your typical bread and butter day. See, these are the reasons why I talk to you the way I talk to you like this, and you don't like it because it doesn't give you that puffed up feeling. But these are the ones that matter the most. These types of discussions, these lectures, these woodshed moments. These are the very things that I did my own ass with. Period. I did these things dozens of times, and it resulted in blown accounts, drawdown that took weeks to fix. I've done those things, folks, and honestly, you don't need to do it. You can do all these things that gets to the point of consistency and profitability and never experience these types of things. It's possible. I'm telling you, it's possible, but you don't want to listen. And it's frustrating to me as a mentor because, like, I'm not lying to you. I told you, like, dude, I've blown accounts before. I've lost money doing these types of things. Why would you want to try to do something like this? all these things, all these things are negative thoughts. So if you're taking up time and you're acknowledging that thought and giving it, your attention, how many times are you doing it a day inside of one day? Now imagine doing this while you're in a trade. Oh shit, that's heavy, ain't it? From the time you enter that trade, how many times are you thinking this fucker is going to go against me? It's way off the scales. If you're in there for a length of time, you're thinking a lot. This is going to turn on me. This is going to fail. Oh, I better not take the partial there. Oh, I should have got in here. I should have done this. I should have done that. That's all negative thinking. So if you don't master yourself, this business is going to warp you. And you can have a profitable model because y'all have it now. You can have something that has stats. You have it now. You have proof, people making real money all around the world, climbing to the top of FTMO leaderboards. You don't see anybody else. Just like I'm trying to create in you. You are your own fucking army. You're an army of one. You don't need me to be your fucking general. You don't need me to be your team fucking captain that tells you what you need to be doing today. You don't need that shit. You have no excuse that this stuff works. You have all the evidence now that it works. But you're trying to do things that's going to do what? Invite more negative thinking, toxic thinking. A model that works. It's very few rules to it. I can appreciate a good looking guy and I can appreciate a good looking woman. And some of these folks that I have as students, they literally have nothing wrong with them physically. They look, by all standards, they are attractive. They're successful people. They're doing well in their careers and they're doing well in trading, but they're being plagued by not being balanced by having a significant other. And then because of that loneliness, they go into the marketplace and they push the button to do what? To feel good. They're allowing their personal life to manifest itself in trading. You cannot look for a feel-good experience in trading. If you treat it like a massage parlor and looking for a happy ending, don't be surprised if you end up with STD. It's as simple as that. You can't do those types of things. These markets will literally take you out. They'll make you second guess everything, remove all sound logic, and you'll lose control. Like a drunken, promiscuous affair on the weekend that you're don't know how to make them better than they are. And when you have frailties, you have to embrace them. Don't try to hide from them, because the fact that you're trying to hide from them is the same thing that causes everyone to have drawdown, blown accounts, because you're trying to do what? You're trying to avoid that losing trade. That one singular event where it's now taken something from you. You're trying to avoid that. And the fact that you're trying to avoid that singular transaction turns into a series and chain of them, then your account's blown. Because you've ramped up your emotional and psychological impact. You've done that to yourself. That singular trade that was a losing trade, you made it now more significant. That trade cheated on you. That trade went outside of the relationships and the boundaries you set for it. And now you feel betrayed. So what do you want to do? You want revenge. You want to go find that motherfucker that cheated on you. And you go out there and you go into the marketplace looking for him. And you don't find them. You find somebody else. And they take again from you. And they take again and again and again. And you're hurt more each time. And it revs up that emotional and psychological impact. And you want it to go away. You want to feel victory. You want to feel like you've done the right thing. Because if you win, you've done the right thing. In your mind, that's what you're going to tell yourself. If you get the money back, you've done the right thing. And you didn't learn anything from that. When you should have said, stop it. This hurt me. I'm going to take a step back and heal. I'm not going to be in a rush to get into a new relationship, a new trade. But it's not comfortable waiting around for Mr. Right or Miss Right. Hardships. You're going to have issues where, you're going to feel like you got it figured out. You'll have a week or two, maybe even a month, where you just did everything right. And this is where you get in trouble, young men. You think that you got it all figured out, and then you have a losing trade. And it might not even be a significant loss. It might be something so small, 0.5% or whatever. You save the stop from getting hit full on. Like you had a 1% risk or 2% risk, and you saved it from getting knocked out, but still it's a loss. Now, you're not looking at the fact that you were able to mitigate the total 1 or 2% hit to your account because you protected the stop loss. You saw it was going to turn on you. You closed it before it went to your stop. That's commendable. That's a skill set, not to promote the idea of paranoia, but if you're beginning to trade with live funds, if you do that initially and you are aggressive about cutting your losses, that alone would probably keep you alive long enough to find a way to grind through the adversities. Because when you get a real good winning trade, it doesn't wait around. It just takes off. It just runs. But the problem with this business is you want to second guess yourself so much because you're trying to avoid losing. This is the number one characteristic of a losing trader. You're willing to hold on to a losing or questionable trade. Come hell or high water, you'll hold that. It isn't moving like you wanted it to, but damn it, you're not letting go of it. Because what happens if you close it and it runs in your favor? What happens if you're fucking wrong and you just held on to it too long? That's what usually happens. See, if your trade is right, it's going to show you right away. Well, the perception of others about them. That's what they're trying to have new equity highs in that. And that's the problem. When you go out and you start challenging people, especially people that's been doing it a long time, and you can't bring those results, that will rattle you, especially if you're a male. A male takes that personal. Again, it's like you're saying that they aren't that large downstairs. That's how they'll take it. That's what it feels like for a man in trading. If they are sizing up with someone else or someone else is calling them or tapping them on the shoulder, that feeling of, I got to live up to that. Because what if everyone else thinks that I can't do this and can't do that? And then what they do is they start doing things that they can't really do. And they are regretting it. My FX books, announcing they're going to do funded challenges, all that kind of stuff. Don't do those things. If you don't do those things, I guarantee you your results will be phenomenal because you're placing no image in the results. You have no expectations held of yourself. You're not saying, I have to hit 20%. I got to do 10% a week. I got to do 100% in a month and a half or 2 months. All those types of goals are stupid. If you haven't been trading for at least 3 years and you're trying to do some stuff like that, you're really making it more difficult than it needs to be. Versus, what happens if you just try to make 2% a week? Would you be happy if you had a funded account with, I don't know, $100,000 and you tripled it over the course of a year? I mean, how many of you would be like, fuck you, I don't want $200,000. Are you crazy? $200,000? What the hell would I want to have $200,000 for? That's insulting, ICT. Why would you even ask me that? That's what some of you are basically saying without saying those words, because you want to double your account every month. What would $200,000 a year do for someone like yourself?
Replenishing the money I blew in those accounts, I had to work a secondary job to get it. And it took a lot to be able to get that money back in there just to do it again. But I didn't lose hope. I was cussing and ranting and raving the whole time I had to do it, wanting to quit the extra job I was working. But I knew unless I did this, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change unless you put your feet to the ground and say, I'm digging my heels in. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to have pushback. I know it's going to be requiring me to put time into it. When all my friends are out there running around and clubbing and doing this and chasing tail and doing this and doing that and drinking and having fun on the weekends, no, I'm going to be in these charts studying. I'm going to be living my life differently. But they're still going to be out there trying to chase tail, broke as fuck, driving a beater fucking car, ain't doing shit in their life. And you'll be able to pull down annual fucking salaries on a week. You can't even imagine where you're going to be. You can't even imagine it. Whatever you think is your level of success, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. You have no idea when you strip all these limitations that you put on yourself, you shackle yourself with your own mindset. You do it. This is all I can see myself doing right now. When you start making $100,000 a year, you start thinking to yourself, "Oh shit, that wasn't all that hard. I thought it was really hard." Well, now I'm going to aim for $500,000, and the attempts that you do that, you get there in less than half the time. And you start thinking, "Well, shit, they say the first $1,000,000 is the hardest one. I'm about there." Boom, in a couple more months, then you're there. And you look back and say, $1,000,000 isn't all that much money. And yeah, it took some effort, but it didn't take as much effort as I thought it was going to take. And then you start making 5 million, 10 million, 15 million. 50 million. And I'm talking in numbers none you can fucking comprehend, but it is what it is, folks. It's just math. It's just math. You're compounding the efforts of what you're able to do on the smallest form. And watch it. That's teaching you patience. You don't have that. When you first start, you don't have patience because you're trying to chase the lead dog. Whether it be me, somebody else that's saying they're making money, someone else is doing something on a live stream, someone else is doing signatures, someone else is doing whatever. You're constantly trying to run when it's better for you in the beginning to learn to sit still, observe. How are you thinking about the marketplace? Do you feel like this insatiable desire that you got to be in there today? Like, come hell or high water, even if you only get 5 handles of the 30 handle run, if you just get a piece of it, at least you got something. You took a bite of the beast that you've been hunting. That's a hyena's approach. I don't trade like a hyena. I'm out there cackling and making crazy noises and shit, trying to just get a bite of something. I'm out there literally stalking and waiting. And when I see the weak one in the herd, the Judas swing, to see the retail traders thinking that they got something that's easy money for them. If that's 100% diametrically opposed to what I'm anticipating in price, I'm running that fucker then. And I'm going home with a full bonus. And I'm not second guessing it. I'm not worrying about what other people are doing, what they think's making the market go up or down, what the volume profile said, what volume node they're looking at, what point of control, what VWAP, what fucking supply and demand zone, what Elliott wave count is. I don't give a fuck about none of that stuff. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm dialed in. I know exactly what I'm hunting. I got my eyes set on it and I'm going to run it down. And I'm taking it home. That's not arrogance. That's not narcissism. That's absolutely defined as confidence because I've been here enough times to know that what I'm doing works. I don't need to change it. I don't need to look at somebody else to help me make it better. I'm not looking at any retail logic because it's not even in there. I'm attacking that. I am an apex predator that is attacking the weakest form of trader in this industry at a time when they're making their actions known. Because whatever you can do with the least, if you have a measurable outcome that is more times than not delivered to you based on a model that you're working with, when you do that same procedure over and over again, just like a cookie cutter, you take it and you press it into the dough. Are you expecting a star-shaped cookie dough cutter to give you a shape of a circle or a square? No. It's designed to do one thing. You press it into the dough, you lift it up, there you have a piece of dough that's cut out in the form of a star. Wonderful. Are you trying to do something else outside of that? No. Your job is to find another place where you can find the dough, which is a trade setup, and you're going to press your cookie cutter, which is your mold, or your model rather, press it into that dough and pull it out. And you take home that star shaped or whatever the shape of that cookie cutter is, whatever your model is, if it's the optimal trade entry, if it's the silver bullet, if it's, anything else. That's all you're there to do. And demanding it does anything more than that is foolishness. The results that you get from the least amount of leverage from that is irrelevant in the beginning because you have to get to the point where you can replicate that over and over and over again, more times than not over the course of a month, over the course of a week. And taking that sample set and saying, okay, I have done this for a week, and this is the many transactions I've taken. This is how many that were profitable. This is how many times that were not profitable. This is how much I was able to yield as a net return. Over time, it'll become easier to do it. That's the goal. And you want it to be boring. You know, on Wednesday morning of next week, you're going to go out there and you're going to find 10 handles in S&P. You know you're going to find 30 handles in the NASDAQ. I know that. I absolutely fucking know I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to be able to do that. I can do that. I know tonight when I lay my head down that my thought is not going to be swirling around. Am I going to be able to trade next week? Am I going to be able to pull anything off? Am I going to be able to find a setup? It's a given. It's absolutely given. I'm not worried about that. That is confidence that you cannot appreciate until you have it. And most traders don't have it. Even if they are profitable, they still say that the market's random. It is random if you're believing the bullshit you're trying to trade off of. All these things that you're subscribing to as a religion. Elliott wave, Wyckoff. It's this. It's jumping the creek. It's this. This wave count. Man, if I had a trade like that, I would not be able to sleep at night. That's too many variables. Too many variables where I'm trading on constants. I know where the liquidity is. I know where the inefficiencies are. I know what the economic counter is going to produce a injection of volatility at a specific date and time. I'm not clueless. I'm not confused. I know exactly when I'm going to step my ass in there and tap dance all over this shit and moonwalk my ass out the door with a bounty. I'm going to do that anytime I fucking want. And when you learn how to do it, you'll do the same thing. It's confidence that you cannot appreciate until you have it. In the hands of weaker men and ladies, you'll be a prick like I was on American Online when I finally got it. I was an asshole. You think I'm an asshole now? No, I was bragging. I was really bragging all the time. I'm just spitting facts right now, and I'm bringing receipts every single day. But you don't want to accept it because you can't do it yet. And you think it should have happened to you because you watched a few videos or you